these testimonies and these letters of support, there are only 3 witnesses in this whole issue, this whole circumstance. 3. Only 2 of them at the hearing, and the 3rd one they won't subpoena, and they won't open up an investigation by the FBI again. You're not going to get the truth unless you do that.
And Scott, the media talked to him, and they said, no, I recall that, which is easy when I get questioned by the media.
Exactly.
But when my ass got to get questioned
by the FBI. If you lie, hold on. If you lie or mislead, you can be criminally prosecuted by the
Fed. I trust them on that.
Lie or
be the
mislead.
police.
Something go down. That's when you like, FBI agents?
Yeah. You want to talk? I'm going to tell the truth.
Them badges real?
You see that big badge?
Okay, what had happened was, I know I previously, because he's remember.
Right.
A denial to the media can't get you charged.
That's right. But watch this.
Lying to the federal authorities can get you charged.
As a former state sex crimes prosecutor, one thing we know about bad actors is they're not one-off bad actors. They have a pattern and practice of it, right? And that's why you have 3 women who identify themselves, who observed the behavior or were alleged victims, and you have 2 anonymous. And the thread among all those statements, these eyewitnesses who were either witnesses or know of him, his drunken debauchery, his abuse of women, his heavy drinking, him being an angry drunk and a different person, that's the thread that runs through all of these allegations and stuff. That is part and parcel of why it needs to be investigated, but also why it's pretty clear he's got these tendencies. That's another reason he doesn't want the FBI to investigate him, because when they interview those people, it's going to come out as a pattern and practice, and he certainly can't have that. I thought the GOP would come out and say he had a drinking problem, he's worked on it, but look at the last 30 years of his life. Who is it at themselves 50 that they are at 17?
Now, Kim,
that'd be a better defense in my opinion.
I'm a native Texan. I remember when there was a certain guy who was a senator, whose name is John Tower. Who was nominated to be the Secretary of Defense.
That's right.
And didn't get confirmed because of his drinking and womanizing.
Exactly.
So to sort of say, like, well, you know, the drinking really no big deal, the reality is there's history. Dude, you're going to be one of 9. Yes, we should know if a potential Supreme Court justice got a drinking problem.
That's right.
That's real. And see, I just don't understand why folks are acting as if, oh, well, then he goes, well, you know, I have a few beers. No, dude, you got people who said, nah, man, you was sloppy drunk.
Sloppy.
And again, if you said that was in my past, that's one thing. But to present yourself as a choir boy as if it never happened.
That's the issue.
But and here's the other piece. If you tell me, no, I ain't never got drunk. I got folks who said, no, dude, you were drunk.
Come on.
A lot of
If you're going to lie about that,
right.
it's some other stuff you're going to lie about. Kim, go ahead.
Well, I don't think he should have lied about getting drunk, because I don't think you can equate a drunk person with a rapist. Just because you get drunk and have a little fun at parties does not mean that you're a sexual assault kind of person.
But the witnesses say it was both.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean that.
What we're not going to do, as Roland says, is take away from Kim's time, because you're talking a lot. Okay?
You're right, Kim.
All right.
You picked up on that.
So I do agree Mark Judge should have been there today. He was the other person in the room. He should have been there. I know they said he had leukemia. He's got addiction problems, and maybe that's why he wasn't there. But I wish he was, because he could probably shed a little bit more light on the situation.
Grassley would not call him.
It's called a subpoena.
Right.
Just subpoena.
Grassley and wouldn't call for a reason.
They should have.
Greg, you're
They should have. I wasn't done.
Sorry, Kim.
They should have called him.
Feisty
They should have called him. But, you know, to me, now I'm forgetting what I was going to say. I had a great...
That means it really wasn't that important.
Okay?
God.
I remember.
Greg, go ahead.
I'll make mine very short. They're driving this car to the Supreme Court, and there's not a tire on it with any air in it. They're riding the rims to the step of the Supreme Court, and they're trying to get this man in that seat before the midterm elections.
I got it. I remembered.
All righty.
Could he be against an FBI investigation because it would take time and that he would not be confirmed?
No.
Before
Maybe
November?
No. In fact,
No, that was my question.
In fact, an FBI investigation, again, if he didn't do it, actually will get him more votes.
No question about it.
Because here's the deal. If you do the investigation and they come back and they said, we talked to 20 people, and we talked to those 4, and we talked to these people, and these people, and these people, we could not corroborate anything.
That's right.
That actually helps it.
No question.
So when you don't want something, so that's the real deal. And remember, you ain't got a problem with a week. The FBI, President George H.W. Bush, asked the FBI to reopen the investigation on Clarence Thomas.
That's right.
It took the FBI 3 days.
3 days.
Okay? They came back. Here's our report. They continued with the hearings. He was approved in committee. 5248 in the United States Senate. He's been on Supreme Court since 1991. That's it. Scott, final comment.
Here, let's talk about the red herring for your listening audience, right? You know, the character assassinations, what his family's been through, what both sides been through. But with Kavanaugh, let's be real clear, right? There are lots of buckets to our lives. The fact that he's a Supreme Court nominee, he coaches girls basketball, he does all these things, does not mean he can't be a mean drunk or have sexually assaulted or exposed himself to certain people. He can be all of those things. When I was a prosecutor, we prosecuted men who exposed themselves, who were CEOs, who were leading political figures in New York, who had incredible backgrounds and perceived great character, and yet they were pedophiles, or they exposed themselves, or they attempted to rape women. So it is a collage of things in life that make the total person. So the whole idea that somehow because he's a Supreme Court nominee doesn't mean he could have raped somebody or attempted to is just nonsense.
I actually agree with that because look at the priest.
Well, here we go.